Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Lawrence. I'm with Be Relentless, and we're going to be going over your November pillar prep for today. So first things first, I need you guys to follow, like, and then subscribe to our channel so you can keep track of all the videos that we got coming up soon. And also leave us comments on videos that you think would be interesting to see. So first things first is let's talk about why, what, and how we're going to do this exactly. All right, so first things first is the why. The pillar is made up of a series of muscles that attach to your torso between the hips and the shoulders. These muscles help transition energy from the ground through our limbs into the mud ball, into our jump, into a person, into the thing that we're moving or we're trying to manipulate as we're playing our sport or when we're in the weight room. We're getting our shoulders prepared to throw. We're getting our shoulders prepared to press and pull. We're getting our hips prepared to jump. We're getting our hips prepared to pull and press as well. So let's start our November pillar prep off with some stretching here. This one is going to be the adductor rock. This is a growing stretch, so we want to make sure that we get a good stretch in the growing area for full range of motion, so we're able to use this range of motion in our workout. You'll notice that I rock back and I pause for a little while. That pause is 2 deep breaths. I'm taking about 4 seconds in on that deep breath and I'm blowing about 4 seconds out on that deep breath. Once you get done with your left side, then you'll go to your right side. You could also change up this variation. You can stick one foot up into the ceiling. So like my right leg right now, how it's flat on the ground, you can stick your toes and put them up to the ceiling and get a good stretch out of that for your growing as well. If this isn't enough or you feel like you can go a little bit, you can take a little bit more stress on this, stretch a little bit. Make sure that you breathe nice and slow. Don't rush this one. The next one is going to be our cat-cow roll. So our cat-cow roll is basically, I'm going to take my time, get into quadrat position, toes dug in the ground, knees underneath my hips, hands underneath my shoulders, and I'm going to curl my body up like a shell, and I'm going to tuck my chin, tuck my hips as I'm curling up. And then as you're extending out, you're going to make sure that you go one vertebrae at a time. As you can see, I start with my hips and I work my way up towards my shoulders as I slowly but surely go into the cow position. I'm going to take a couple deep breaths and then I'm going to start back going the opposite way, starting with my shoulders, working my way down towards my hips. And when I get here to my hips, I'm going to tuck as hard as I can, pulling my pelvis up towards my chin, and I'm pulling my chin down into my sternum or into my chest. And then we're going to go ahead and repeat and go back the opposite way. You have 5 reps in this one. Take your time. Don't rush it. Make sure that you're feeling this stretch here and you're loosening up your back while you're doing so. This next one here is going to be the V-stance T-spine rotation. You want to get in a position where you can firmly press your hands into the ground with your legs standing out into a V position. You'll notice that then I'll start to rotate my torso to where one hand is right above my other hand with my shoulders in between. I'm not overextending in that position. I don't necessarily care if your knees are bending slightly a little bit. As you can see, I have a slight bend in my knees. Most importantly is that you're pressing through the ground and then you're reaching up, rotating, taking those 2 deep breaths, 4 seconds in, 4 seconds out, I should say. 4 seconds in, 4 seconds out, deep breaths, and reaching up towards the ceiling away from the opposite hand. So I'm actively pushing it into the ground and I'm actively reaching up to the sky without over rotating. This next one here takes a little bit of effort of setup, a little time. So you'll see I have a big loop band. I chose the black band for this one. You want to loop it through and then reach in and grab the band and lock it in place there. Now the band is locked in place. Now you can get set up with your legs. So now we're going to go ahead and set up. You'll see I try to line my knees up or my feet up in a relatively straight line or right underneath my hips. And then you'll proceed to do a band chop. This one is called the half kneeling band chop. So you'll go ahead into this position here, start to chop with the band, making sure that you're not leaning against the band, you're standing upright, you have full control of your hips. In the side view, you'll see that my torso is relatively straight up and down from my knee being on the ground. I'm not rocking back and forth, left and right, forward or backwards. I'm trying to maintain stability and control over my hips and my shoulders while I'm moving the force left and right across my body here with this band chop. I'm taking good deep breaths, and you feel every single second of it. This is the next portion of it. We're going to go ahead and kick it off with iron scap or band activation or arm care, whatever you would like to call it. You take your yellow band. I prefer to use a yellow band because that way you can get the full range of motion in your shoulders. Usually if you use a red band, it gets a little sloppy. This one is going to be with the first row. The second one is going to be with a T pull. Then we're going to go into an A pull. So I'm pulling my hands down to my side. This next one is called the pull down. With the pull down, you want to make sure that your shoulders aren't rolling forward and your chest stays pointed at the anchor point. Here is a 90-90. Here we're going to make sure that we pull our elbows straight back, then point the fist towards the ceiling to finish off the 90-90. Going into the scaption, this one is just an arm raise, so you'll take your fist and then raise them up over your chest towards your eyes. Then the next one is a press. You're going to press out, then cross the fist at the very top. You'll feel this one in your shoulders as you come back. You're using your shoulders to wrap around your rib cage and then squeezing them at the back when you pull down with your elbows out to your side here. This next one is called the victory. So the victory is you want to pull down, pull back up into a big Y position, squeezing the shoulder blades at the very top, trying to keep the ears away from the shoulders. The next exercise on the pillar prep is the monster band walk. So you'll squat down in a base position. You'll take a step to your left. You'll do a diagonal step here. And then you'll finish off with a reverse step on this band walk, on this band taps. Then you'll make sure that you do the opposite side. The pillar prep needs to be done in a slow and methodic manner, making sure that you have full control over your body the entire time. It should take about 10 to 15 minutes to get done with this pillar prep. I don't want you to rush it. Take your time, and good luck with the workout.